Hi, I'm Zufar Bikbov, and every week I'm with you to help you to become a better oil painting artist. This week we're painting this summer scene, and I go by seasons. And this, as you see, seascape, something new which we didn't paint before. As an intermediate stage and as plan of my painting, this is the sketch. This is block in a stage. I'll be painting from this point tonight at 7 p.m. Please join me. So let's start with sketch. I'm using highlighter and a pencil. Highlighter just for some lines and maybe to divide my space to thirds, which could be helpful, and simple rule. And of course I'm starting with a more simple lines like horizon line and this building on the right. On photograph it takes about half of the space. I think it's too much, even though reflections is beautiful, I still want to have more emphasis on the boat. So boat will be a little bit shifted to the left. On the third, from the left, I have a mast, a left mast, and somewhere in the middle it's a right mast. Boat shape is complex, and it's not only texture of all gear, but also curves. It's symmetric subject, and also to paint that symmetry of that complex both sides is another challenge which I've seen, and I had it as a challenge before, but more you practice, better you are. So I'm constructing my boat first, even though I know where's my building on the right. I like its current position within those lines which I placed there with my highlighter. So now let's go where our stable line and dark lines. So this is building shadow under the roof, even though we have their lights which are beautiful and will give reflections on the water, other beautiful effect in addition to the sky. I just decided to include two of them. And also all area along the water line to the right from the boat is very dark. Since this is my plan of painting and I have no any colors involved yet, I will try to put as much as possible emphasis on lines, shapes, and values. Also, I will decide which directions I want to have these waves on the water. They seems to be horizontal, but I can be flexible, and with experience you will decide, do you want them going to the right or to the left. When you paint en plein air, observing this view like directly, you will see the direction of the waves change depending on other boats coming to the docking. So this is view in Connecticut in Stonington. It's not as famous as Stonington in Maine, but has lobster boats and other fishing boats, beautiful dock, and it smells with fish. So these constructions, so I'm pretty pleased with the shape of the boat. I will need to work a little bit more on reflection of the left side of the building. So let's tone the canvas. I'm toning it mainly with very warm colors, pretty much with orange and yellow ochre pale. And I think on sky I need more ochre. So it looks like it became too dark, but since paint is not dry yet, I'm painting again with a mix of the Gamsol and yellow ochre pale. So I could make value of the sky a little better. So let's now transfer my drawing to the surface, to the canvas. I'll show you in this close-up. Again, since I just did sketch just like a few minutes ago, for me, my hands, my eyes, I'm all tuned up, so my hands and eyes remember all angles, and of course I have my plan right in front of me. Actually, at this stage, look solely on my sketch rather than on photograph, where I have way too much details, different dimensions, too much stuff which is outside of my interest and outside of what I'm going to paint on my canvas. So successful Successfully transferring drawing to the painting surface is a great deal as well. And right now I'm trying and starting actually doing my block in with my 4 favorite transparent paints, which would include from top to the bottom alizarin permanent, oxide brown transparent, viridian green, and ultramarine blue. I'm trying to touch first the darkest dark because at this time it's a relatively simple shape. It doesn't have much texture on it. What's most important is kind of outer shape of it. So closer to the object which are touching water, where we have a lot of seaweed, I used a more mix of the brown and green. So now heading towards the water, I'm getting more of the blue. So this is the building on the right. So here we will have those lights, including just 2 of them. I don't want to be, as on this cropped photograph, at least the right one, to be close so much to the side. Otherwise I would need to, that's the violation of one of the rules, and it doesn't feel good when you have some beautiful important object right on the edge. I will turn you back so to the sketch at this moment, and then to the image when we have uncropped situation. When you paint, when you draw as an artist, you recreate a view and you paint it the way as you see it with some your aesthetical standards. So if the object can be moved to the right or to the left, you do so, or you find different position at the place where you stand. In this today we don't have luxury of that, because this photograph I took just a couple of years ago during the summer, and we're painting this during the winter time. So a horizon line, I'm using more like pale color, and also I'll show you just in a moment the photograph. The foreground doesn't seem to be dark. Sky is clear and shining at the same time. On photograph you see sky is almost white because it's shining. It wasn't white, it was pink. But if I took the value, the shutter speed of the camera darker, I wouldn't be able to see on this photograph so many details and shadows which I need. At the same time, the foreground is darker. I will do that intentionally just based on my knowledge and my memory. Let's do constructions on top of the boat. So a lot of lines, and that's actually will not be easy to do later on. Imagine I will apply impasto paint on sky. How I will do this? That would be difficult. I'll be constantly moving paint, have a paint shift. So finally it may turn to a big mess. So I decided I will put those constructions now, and then all around that area, and in that area I'll be carving shape of those sticks, masts, and gear, just going by negative space. So let's do more blue. It's too warm picture at this time. I want to cover with a blue bigger area on my water, because as you see on the image there is a pink and blue, and it's not the same soft transition as in sky because of waves and water like curves. So I decided that I will have like a warmer blue where the water is supposed to be, and then we'll apply pink as impasto paint later on, maybe with a dry brush as well. That would work well. So let's add a little bit more depth in between this boat and dock. So I'm also making darker, of course, the nose front of the boat, and giving better shape, better readable shape of the boat front and side. So here's the water line. I think it's too high. Let me put it a little bit down, and reflection usually is vertically taller, I mean going down, than the size of the object which is reflecting. Even at the same time, the waves will let you reflection to be kind of like cut and spread. If this was absolutely still water as a glass, of course reflection would be the same, would have the same dimension, even though a little bit different shape than the boat itself, because we're looking not from the water surface but a little above it. So I'm getting pretty happy with the boat shape, and also I want to put title of the boat, at least the place where it's supposed to be right now rather than later. At least it will break for me that dark spot which has no details. There is no any chain, at least I don't see any, no anchor or anything. Anchor is probably in water at this moment. And what's happening on the right side, it's except roof seems to be value-wise is good, but the shape of reflection is another challenge. Here I'm changing wave's direction. I really want waves to go from generally from the top right to the bottom left. I need to, of course, remember, we all need to remember that this layer is block in area. This is the way as we kind of think what we're going to do on top of this. Since it's not final layer, we know all mistakes can be covered at the same time. We should not get lost in that amount of details which are going to place now if we want to. So it's rather should give us kind of like a roadmap, better than the sketch, which was our first big plan. And I may, especially darkest dark, leave untouched later on, because shadows are dark here, details are not seen in shadows. I'd rather apply details where we have some light on surface. It's not contour effect, there is no strong light, but at the same time something similar. We have silhouette of this boat, at least front of it. So let's look again at the photograph. That's our reference. I think I'm getting pretty happy. So I took pastel, my oil pastel, just to put more texture and also show where the reflection from those lights will be. And now I'm kind of breaking that vertical lights. It will be thousands and thousands more brush strokes done on the water surface. I promise you will see that tonight. So please come back tonight at 7 p.m. I'll be with you. So we're getting ready. A few more hours if you do that in advance, and you will have your painting surface dry enough to work on top of it. Or you can do it at your own pace. Most likely you will see this video over a weekend or will rewatch it. So join me. Remember to sign up for my webinars, the link is below. And also visit Zufar.com. You will see this painting complete just as soon as I really finish it, when I will be happy with it, and work on the foreground. So also make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel and stay updated, because I'm developing my system, my business, and I hope everything will work great for you. I wish you a wonderful day, wonderful time painting, raising quality of your life. It doesn't matter, are you a young person or you're retired, it's so important to nourish your creativity. We'll see you tonight.